We have this beautiful presentation of the Lord which we reflect on today. I'd like us to think a little bit about Simeon and the prophetess, as we're told, Anna, the daughter of Phanuel. Both were quite aged, according to our gospel. They had been waiting their whole lives for the coming of the Messiah. Actually, the Jewish people had been waiting about 600 years for the coming of the Messiah. And we have Simeon here who has received a prophecy that he was going to be able to lay eyes on the Messiah. What a joy that must have been for him after having waited his entire life, and a joy for Anna as well, who'd spent almost their entire lives preparing and spending time in the temple, preparing others for the coming of the Messiah. And suddenly, he comes into the temple. Not riding on a horse or riding on a donkey. He's not come in with some huge triumphal entry. It's just two parents coming in with a little baby. And I wonder what Simeon and what Anna experienced that day for them to suddenly realise there is something different about this child than all the other children who were brought into the temple. This would have been something that happened every single day in the temple. Similar to, you could say, to baptisms. Little children are brought to the temple. Little boys would have been circumcised, and then they're presented, formally given a name, and they're presented for the service of God. This wouldn't have been an unusual event in the life of the temple. But something incredible happened. Simeon realised this child was different to all the other children who'd been presented. What a joy that must have brought to them. They had been faithful, both Simeon and Anna had been faithful to the worship of God, had been faithful to their dedication to God right throughout their lives. And to be able to be there and lay eyes upon God, what a blessing that is. For us, we're called to be faithful as well, to be expectant and to be waiting in hope for the coming of Jesus Christ at the end of the world. We don't know when it will be, but we're called to be faithful every day in the way that Anna and the way that Simeon are faithful. Once Simeon is able to hold the child, he says this great prayer. Now, Master, you can let your servant go in peace, just as you have promised. You could see that, you could sort of almost feel that joy that he has. He's exhausted, but he feels like what a blessing. We're here at a changing moment in history, and he had prepared for this for his life. We're preparing for the last day. We don't know when that last breath we will take will be, where we're then ushered into that final journey to paradise. Let us be like Simeon and Anna, where we are expectant, where we are waiting, we are dedicated in our prayer, our worship of God, until that day comes. It might be today, it might be tomorrow. We may not see the second coming of Christ in our lifetime, but maybe we will. And we're called to be ready and expectant today. Simeon and Anna, they were ready. And when Christ came, they were prepared. They recognized the coming of Christ and they rejoiced. And here we have these beautiful words of Simeon saying this is not just about the Jewish people, this is about all people. You have prepared, my eyes have seen the salvation which you have prepared for all the nations to see, a light to enlighten the pagans and the glory of your people Israel. The coming of Jesus Christ is not just for the Christians. It's not just for the Jewish people. It is for everyone. Let us spread the good news of Jesus Christ to everybody. This is what Simeon did in preparing for the coming of Christ. Let us do the same as followers of Jesus Christ today.